Hi guys, the Middle Maniac back again. This is part 4 of my horror movie collection. This is going to be the final part in this series. I was gonna make a part 5, but then I'm like, ugh, I'm too lazy. I'm just gonna clump all the rest of the stuff into part 4, because I don't want to make a part 5. Too lazy for that. So yeah, this is part 4, and it's my final part to the series. So first up is the movie The Thing by John Carpenter. One of my all-time favorite, sort of, I guess you could say, space invader type horror films. Just phenomenal acting from everyone in this film. Kurt Russell just is one of the best heroes in a horror movie. And the ending you don't know who's the thing at the very end. People are still speculating to this day whether Childs or McCready is the thing. Just a really good ending. Just leaves you sort of guessing. But yeah, just a really, really good horror film. Really phenomenal special effects by Rob Bottin. Yeah. Alright, next up. There we go. The Alien franchise. One of my all-time favorite horror franchises. Um, First up, I have this, which is Alien Anthology box set. This is a Blu-ray box set. It has Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. But yeah, I mean, the first Alien film, phenomenal. One of my all-time favorite horror films. The second one, an amazing sequel. The third one, just why did they why with that movie? Like everything's just why about that one. Alien Resurrection is one that's sort of a guilty pleasure for me. I really do like Alien Resurrection. It's just too goofy to be taken seriously, but serious enough to where you're still entertained. At least that's for me, you know. But yeah. Also, this box set is really cool. You open it up, and oh yeah, and then you get sort of like a little summary there. And then you open it up, and there's the first disc. You can see the pictures from the film, like not the pictures, the screenshots. There's the disc. And then there's a little read up on here that would be on the back of the case of the individual film. Then on here in the little midsection, you get a screenshot of the space jockey. And then Aliens again. You get the little read up here of the film. Oh, and also I am really messing up my words right now. I'm so sorry. With each section, they also have the quote that goes with each movie. So if I go back to here, it's for Alien. It says, "In space, no one will hear you scream." One of my favorite horror movie quotes of all time. But yeah, and then with Aliens, of course, this time it's war. And you get a screenshot of Ripley fighting the Queen Alien. And then Aliens 3, Three Times the Terror. And then Alien Resurrection, Witness the Resurrection. Pretty cheesy quote compared to the rest, but whatever. Again, I really do like this film. And then you get 2 bonus discs. You get The Making of Alien Anthology and the Alien Anthology Archives. And then there's the credits. And then you get a little booklet with it. But yeah, one of if not my all-time favorite box set in terms of basically any movie series. I really do love this. And then also I have Alien versus Predator. Um, while I do think this is superior in some ways to the second Alien versus Predator film, I do think in also the second one is superior in some ways to this one. Both have their ups and downs. The problem with this one is that it's PG-13, so it's very limited on what it can do. But the problem with this second one is the lighting. Like, no, there's no lighting at all. Like, the lighting crew is just not there. Like I don't know if they knew what the lighting crew was because, like, in the night scenes in the second one, in the second Alien versus Predator, it's pitch black. You can't see what's going on at all. But I mean, both this one and the second one have their issues, but I mean, they're both really good in my opinion. I only own the first one. I don't own the second one, but I have seen the second one. Um, Also, an interesting thing about this one is the fact that it has a really cool menu screen. Like, here's the thing: with most menu screens, it's the same menu screen every time you put the disc in. But with this one, it changes. Like, it changes it up on you. Like, there's actually two or three different versions of the menu screen that can pop up at any time you put the disc in. So you never know which version. And the menu screens are really cool looking. Like, one menu screen is, I think, the Arctic area that this movie takes place in. One menu screen is the sacrificial chamber in the pyramid, and then one menu screen is the Predator spaceship. But yeah, I don't own the second Alien vs Predator movie, and I don't own Prometheus or Alien Covenant. But I own majority of the franchise. All right. Next up is first and second Predator films. I don't own these individually. That's the reason I have this one. Predator, the first one, an amazing horror film, and Predator 2, an absolutely underrated horror sequel. I do really like Predator 2. Probably as much as the first one. I think they're both fantastic films. This is cracked in the bottom. Yikes. But yeah, it's just a really great duo of movies. I don't own any of the other Predator movies just because, in my opinion, they're not that good. Predators, I think it was called, the 2012 or 10 one or whatever it was pretty lackluster. And then, the Predator, the newest Predator movie, I think was pretty much a cash grab. But yeah, the first and second ones are very good. Yeah. And then next up is the only good M. Night Shyamalan movie in my opinion, and that is Signs. I love this film. It is, even though it's sort of more of the kind of horror film that's, I guess you could kind of say it's for both kids and adults alike. I mean, it is only PG-13, but it uses that limitation to the best of its ability. And unlike a lot of horror films today that directors make them PG-13 to get a wider audience, therefore getting more money, and those PG-13 films are limited, horror films are limited because of that rating, and don't really utilize that rating to the best of its ability. This film and a few other horror films that have a PG-13 rating, even though it's limits on what they can do, they still use it to the best of their ability. But yeah, it's just a really cool movie. Actually, hold on, there's like a little pamphlet in here. Oh, jeez, I don't think I've ever looked at this. Hold on. It's just about the special features. Huh. I'll have to take a look at this later. Yeah. And the alien design looks pretty cool too. It's sort of like a hybrid design between what you would think a sort of a reptoid alien would look like and the gray alien. I really love that combination of design. But yeah, just great horror film. Alright, next up. This is sort of sci-fi action mixed with horror, and that is Independence Day. I know a lot of people have, uh, for whatever reason, come to really criticize this movie in the last few years. I don't know why. I honestly don't know what. Yeah, it's another sort of. I guess this started the trend of just movies where shit blows up. You know, that's there's a lot of movies that sort of took this idea and just took out all the story, all the good story and everything. Just have a movie where everything blows up. You know, and tractor beams and laser beams from the sky. That would become a very overused trope later down the line. But here, that's paired with actual good storytelling and everything. The alien design is very, very unique. Never really had an alien design quite like it ever again. But yeah, just a really awesome action horror film. Alright, next up is one that I don't see a lot of people talking about. I don't know, it's sort of a forgotten series, and that is the Species movies. They're all pretty good. I'd say my favorite would definitely be probably the first one. It's kind of sort of. I think if I remember correctly, it's one of those horror film series where I believe majority of the sequels were owned or direct to DVD. Probably. I think only the first and second films were released in theater. Um, and yeah, I mean this film series also jumps in terms of time gaps. Like the first one was released in '95, the second one released in '98, the third one released in 2004, and the fourth and final one released in 2007. So very much a gaps in time between each film. Also, the design of at least the first movie, the design of the creature was designed by none other than H.R. Geiger, who is very famous for creating the design for the Xenomorph in the first Alien film. But yeah, just a really awesome horror series. Definitely check this out if you love just love aliens, sci-fi, horror, and just all out, just complete nonsense at times. But yeah. Next up is horror comedy. One of my favorite horror comedies, Shaun of the Dead. This is part of a trilogy. I don't own any of the other two. Hold on. Oh, this is cracked. Yikes. I don't own any of the other movies in the trilogy. I've seen one of the other ones, um, World's End. Not to be confused with the Pirates of the Caribbean film At World's End. But yeah, I mean, this film is probably my favorite of the two I have seen. But that almost went down the wrong way. I almost inhaled my soda. That wouldn't be good. I'd be coughing like crazy. Oh yeah, and then Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are one of the funniest comedy duos ever. They're just hilarious. They have really great dialogue, and just both of them work really, really well together. Also, a really interesting character that didn't last too long in the film before he got killed off. Sean's stepfather, played by Bill Nye. Not Bill Nye the Scientist guy. I mean Bill Nye the actor. Who is interesting enough? Bill Nye so Bill Nye has a very interesting sort of way he chooses, not way he chooses a role, but the roles he's in. Bill Nye either plays the villain of a film or he just plays a complete jerk. You know, it's never a good. He never plays a good guy. He always plays a villain or a complete jerk. But yeah, I mean, Bill Nye is great in every movie he's in. But yeah, just a really awesome horror comedy. One of my all-time favorites. Alright. Next up is a very large combo pack, and that is Midnight Madness 20 movie collection. Yeah, I mean, this is a hit or miss for me. I mean, there's some movies in here that are really, really good, and some that are just absolutely forgettable. I'd say the ones on here that I like are Night of the Living Dead, of course. Probably the most famous zombie film. Um, House on Haunted Hill, my all-time favorite Vincent Price film. Probably his best performance. Maybe other than House of Wax. And then what's another good one on here? Bela Lugosi's Devil Bat. I really like this one. It's very cheesy, but very good. Revolt of the Zombies is also really good. Horror of the Zombies is one of my favorite cheesy horror films. Like my favorite B movies. Just a really cheesy, really campy sort of horror film for certain aspects. I mean, also the Horror of the Zombies is actually, I guess, the alternate title, which became a little bit more prevalent than the original title, which was Ghost Galleon. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just a really great horror film. And then another really good one on here is Oasis of Zombies. Another really cheesy horror film that I absolutely love. Oh, that goes there. Okay, and then I only have a few things left. Let's see. First off is something that came out not too long ago, I think a few years back. 2012 is The Woman in Black, starring Daniel Radcliffe. Of course, from his most famous role, of course, was playing Harry Potter. I think he does a really, really good job in this film. He should act in more horror films. He does a really amazing job. Because I wasn't expecting him to do that well in a horror film, just because because before this, like, I only knew him from the Harry Potter franchise. Being but I mean, he does an amazing job. It's a really good ghost story. The effects are stunning. The story is amazing. The dialogue is one of the best horror movie dialogues in terms of stuff from the modern era. And then it's just an all-around great film. I know there's a sequel. I've seen it, and the sequel's pretty. I mean, it's not terrible, but the sequel's just not nowhere near as good as this one. Yeah. And then something that I know some people won't consider a horror film, but I do. It does have enough horror elements to consider it a horror film, and that is the original King Kong from 1933. Yeah, you could say, oh, it's not really horror; it's more fantasy adventure. And yeah, well, it does have yeah. I mean, it does have a lot of fantasy adventure elements more than horror movie elements, but there's enough horror movies, kind of elements in there to categorize it as a horror film. Actually, believe it or not, this is my favorite movie overall. Like, my favorite movie of all time. This is actually a DVD, 2-disc DVD, I guess it says 2-disc collector's edition. I know there's a Blu-ray version, but it's actually pretty expensive. But yeah, this is a really cool tin it's in. There's that. And then on the back. Also, now, originally it came with, I believe it came with, or maybe it was separate. No, I think it came with it. I remember this came in a pack, actually. This came in a larger pack, which also had the movies Son of Kong and The Mighty Joe Young. Those are also really good films, but they're not horror films. They're completely fantasy adventure, where this one is fantasy adventure, but also somewhat a horror film. But yeah, and then I mean, you get just a ton of stuff. That's just the what would be on the back here. But you also get a ton of other stuff. You get this really cool set of not really postcards, but mini posters from like all over the world of different variations of the King Kong poster. You get this one, which is really cool. And you get that one. I love King Kong's face on this one. He's just sort of, he almost looks like he took something and he's just he's just really just, too hyper for his own good, you know. I really love that face for some reason. This picture's been used a lot in promotion. And then there's that one. This one, of course, the one that they used a lot here in America. I really love that one. And then with the second set, you do get a second set as well. And you get, and then there's that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. And then you also get this, I don't know what it is, it says Grauman's Chinese Theater, Hollywood, Friday evening, March 24th, 1933. The picture that staggers the imagination. So I guess this is a reproduction of a pamphlet that was released on release. I don't know, but it does have some really cool pictures in it, and it just tells a little bit about the movie. Oh yeah, these are actually storyboards or just concept. Oh yeah, these are actually not storyboards; they're concept art right here. It's really cool. Um, um, and then you get that, and then also the main feature is of course the movie. It actually has a ton of special features, both on the main disc and on the bonus disc. Um, yeah, of course, my favorite film of all time, the original King Kong. Um, but yeah, there's that. And then, if I can get this out of the box really quickly. Of course, another one that I guess the movie started out like the first one was a straight up horror film. Then later on, the series kind of strayed completely away from horror. This is the last thing to show in my collection, and that is the original Godzilla from 1954. Yes, the original Godzilla from 1954, Gojira, is a horror film. Unlike every other Godzilla movie, which is actually just sci-fi action, I guess you can categorize it as, whereas the first film is a horror film. But yeah, it's just an amazing film. I mean, there's some people out there who say, "Oh, the effects don't hold up." Yeah, they do. I mean, considering the fact that a lot of people back in the day, I mean, before it went over to America and they butchered it with the Godzilla King of the Monsters one. No, not the newer movie, the one from '56, I think it was. But but yeah, it's just a absolutely phenomenal horror film. Oh yeah, and it comes in this box set that has a bunch of the Godzilla films from the Heisei era. All right, so that's it for my horror movie collection. Um, I think this will be my last video for today, maybe. Um, mm, yeah, I will upload 2 videos tomorrow, but I'm going back to the 2 video. Like, yeah, for a while I did the 1 video format, but now for a while I'm going back to the 2 video per day format, or at least 2 videos on days that I don't work. But yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.